But you also fly the Catalina. Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, so that came about, funnily enough, when I was actually learning to fly, when I was still in IT. I remember one of my colleagues, because obviously he knew I was into planes, and I think he was looking in eBay, it was, and he said, "Oh, have you seen this? Like, there's this flying boat. You can buy a share of this," and uh, and that kind of just stuck in the back of my mind, and it kind of said, "Oh, you only need a PPL to fly that." It was quite expensive, and I wasn't really earning enough to buy such a thing in those days. It sort of planted a seed in the back of my head, which once I got onto the Porter and was out in Papua, you got paid pretty well for that because it's quite a dangerous job, and obviously the training involved takes a long time. So you're an sort of expensive commodity for the company, so they paid you quite well for that. And I had quite a lot of time off, so I kind of went and Googled it and thought, I wonder if they still got shares in that thing, and I kind of phoned them up, and they did. So I bought a share from a hotel room in Jakarta over a Skype
How'd you
chat.
do?
And I thought this is going to be cool. I've never even seen the plane in real life, and so I came back to UK on one of my holidays, and yeah, learned to fly a Catalina flying boat as you do, and yeah, sort of did that for 6 years. I moved quickly from the right seat to the left seat at the end of the first season, and then yeah, was doing the air shows and obviously landing on the water, which is just a big appeal. It's that is the main reason to have a Catalina is to land it on the water.
Yeah.
It's just there's nothing else like it. It's another whole dimension to aviation, being in a cockpit and being on the water. It just feels so bizarre. And yeah, it was a very cool 6 years doing that.
Is that the one
Um,
based at Duxford?
it is based at Duxford, yeah, and that's where she's based with Plain Sailing, which is the organisation that basically operates it. And as I said, I did sort of 6 years, and my last flight I thought was going to be bringing it back from Loch Ness. So during the COVID lockdowns, it suffered a bit of a problem with one of the engines, and they couldn't get it started, and it culminated in it was an internal shaft that connects the starter motor onto the engine that basically just sheared off, and they couldn't get it going. So, and you can't just change that. That's a majorly internal part of the engine. You need to strip it out and do that a full strip down, which you can't do when it's sitting on Loch Ness. So it needed a pretty serious amount of rescuing. You needed to get the whole aircraft out of Loch Ness with a big crane, take the engine
Wow.
off, replace the engine, and then put it back onto Loch Ness. And there was a whole fundraiser which actually did really well. I think we were all quite blown away with the generosity of everybody on that one. Raised over £30,000 to get
Oh,
her back, because this was sort of December, and winter was setting in, and we are kind of worried that if she spends the winter on the loch, it's not going to do her any good at all. And that was what I thought was going to be my last flight, was taking it back from Loch Ness back to Duxford. And I sort of sold my share at that point, because I'd done my time with it, and I thought that was a fun time. But yeah, last year they invited me back to be an instructor, and so I said, yeah, absolutely, I would love to do that.
yeah.
So I've gone ahead and got my TRI on that. So I teach people to fly it, and this year I've just qualified as a TRE, an examiner. So had a big course with the CAA, and yeah, I'm now what as one of four of us now, I think, in the world on that
Wow.
one. So it's pretty
That's
cool.
incredible. That must be a lot of fun.
It's a very new role for me, so I've never been an examiner or an instructor or anything. So I felt really honoured for them to ask me to do that. It's a lot of work, to be honest. It was a lot more work than I thought. There's a lot of regulations and this sort of thing, which I've had to kind of learn a lot of things. And yeah, next season I'm really looking forward to getting into that role, and yeah, seeing how the guys do, and signing the licenses off, and yeah, it's going to be really cool.